So when I was thinking about what to speak about today, I immediately came back to a story I have from pitching in Silicon Valley a little over 10 years ago. I'm 26 years old, and I have this high as an entrepreneur, probably that many of you who pitched tonight have. I just won Angel Hack, which is a hackathon, and you build a software product overnight, and out of hundreds of projects from around the world, me and my co-founder, we win Angel Hack and win $50,000. Congratulations. Woohoo! And so I'm so excited. You know, you get this high as an entrepreneur when you first start your startup and you're like, I got this. And so I go into Silicon Valley. I know the chances of me being able to raise a seed round are pretty low. To give some background, less than 2% of VC-backed companies have a female CEO. Even fewer have a female CEO who's a woman of color. But I don't care. I'm like, it doesn't matter about the statistics. I am going to crush this. And so I decide to recruit someone who can help me pitch. And I'm so excited. I'm not going to say his name. But I'm so excited because he's so well connected. He's raised millions of dollars and he knows every VC. And I think with this guy, I'm easily going to be able to raise a seed round. And so I go through my pitch with him. We have our meeting. I'm so excited, so confident. And at the end of the pitch, he asks me, so are you going to pitch to VCs as the cute Asian or the tiger Asian? No. And I don't know how to respond. I don't know how to respond. I get confused because I think I'm Misa. I have a story. I can be nice and friendly when I'm with my friends, when I go out. I can be more competitive, the tiger, I guess you could call it, when I'm playing tennis or I'm talking to clients. I'm not one or the other. I don't want to be put in a box. And so it's from then on that I have this shadow over me. And I ultimately end up letting him go as an advisor because I don't feel like he understands who I am and what I'm going through. And I begin to lose myself. When pitching to investors, I dress differently. I start not wearing makeup. I start wearing glasses to look smarter. I start wearing leather jackets for some reason. Don't ask me why. But I lose myself. I lose myself in trying to be someone I'm not, to try to get the money. And the worst thing about this is that when I pitch to investors, they can see right through me. That I'm trying to play into this stereotype, this negative stereotype of Asian American women, of women of color. We all face this. And so I end up raising a small pre-seed round, and I do succeed in raising money, but in that process, I do lose myself. I do lose my authenticity. It's not until very recently, last spring, that I really reflected on this experience. Last spring, I decided to attend a very unusual program, unique of its kind. It's called the Women of Color in Leadership Program at Harvard Business School. It's the only of its kind in the world. And at that program, I have an aha moment. My professor, Linda Hill, she goes up in class and says a statement. She says, Asian American women cannot be perceived as both competent and kind. Let me repeat that. So Asian American women, if you're perceived as smart and competent, you're usually perceived as cold. If you're perceived as kind and warm, you can't be perceived as competent. We have this really difficult balance beam that we have to walk. And so that comment, the cute Asian versus the tiger Asian, that is that stereotype that we often are put into, that keep us from breaking the ceiling. And so, all of a sudden, I had this aha moment that I had lost myself and that this was a stereotype I was dealing with. And I began to think, how can I go against this stereotype? How can I get outside of this? And that's when I start reflecting on thinking about how to genuinely build my authentic self as a leader. And I began to tell my story on LinkedIn. I began to try to break those negative biases against us. And I decided to found a company called The Authentic Asian, where it helps Asian American female leaders break that ceiling, support each other, and find their authentic selves. Because we're not the cute Asians. We're not the tiger Asians. We're just authentically ourselves. And by telling our story as women of color, we can break those biases and break the ceiling. Let's do this. And so I hope if you can take one thing away from my talk today, is that don't put yourself into one of those boxes. Tell your story, shout it from the rooftops. Break those biases, break that ceiling, and let's do this together. Because it's only by telling our stories together that we can be our authentic selves. If you'd like to learn more and get free resources on how to tell your story and break that ceiling, feel free to reach out. Thank you.